Namaste, my friend. How are you doing? Let us close your eyes, being comfortable. Check that you are totally comfortable at the physical level. Look at the neck joint, the shoulder joints, the hip joint, and the entire body. Look inside the forehead in the space and then start breathing quick and short breath into your rib cage through the nostrils, keeping your focus inside the forehead. Just continue breathing. Let us see our endurance also and awareness also. So if the mind resists, you endure it. You have been doing this practice, so it's not a big deal. So what we are learning is that can we endure when we are doing for a longer period. Continue breathing and see if there any resistance. Endure it and keep doing it. Just become aware of the changes that is taking place and recognize these changes and accept it. This is just we are using to purify the mind, withdraw the mind deeper inside so that we can experience the deeper state. And stop this breathing, recognize and accept the changes that is taking place in terms of your experience. And move your mind gently on the entire head and the neck, as if your mind is touching the skin of the head and the neck, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The mind is moving, or you are aware of the right arm, from the right shoulder to the fingertips. The mind is moving on the right arm, from the right shoulder to the fingertips, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the left arm, the mind is touching the skin of the left arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. It is you which is common, and that you is awareness. You experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the head and the neck. You experienced you again. That you is awareness. That you is not the body, not the mind, not the breath. It is just a pure awareness. You experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the right arm. You experienced sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the left arm. Are you aware that experiences and the objects are changing? Object was head in the neck. Object was right arm. Object was left arm. Experiences even vary, objects vary, but you are the same. You are the knower of your experiences. Move the mind on the entire rib cage. The rib cage in the front and the back, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You, the knower of all the experiences, are same. Objects are different. We started with an object of head and the neck, then right arm, then the left arm, and now the rib cage. Even we can find deeper, lighter experiences of sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the different parts of the body. What is common? You, the knower. Objects are different and experiences are different. Move the mind on the belly, Object is different. Experience of sensation, relaxation, and stillness is different, but you, the knower, is the same. Move the mind on the right leg. Mind is touching the skin of the right leg from the right side of the waist to the toes. Right leg as an object is different than the head and the neck, than the right and the left arm. But you is the same, that knower of experience of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the left leg, be there, feel. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Do you see there are three things? Experience of each part of the body. Object, that means each part, and its experience, they are the two things. But knower, that knower, you is the same. Once we understand this, it will transform our mind. We will not be carried away by our experiences. We will not be carried away by the objects. Do you see? Object is one, experience of the object is two, and the knower, the you, is three factors. Two changes constantly. One does not change. One remain constant. What is that? You. That you is the real self. Pure consciousness. Why we purify the mind? The mind says, I am the body, and body is constantly changing. I am the mind. Mind is constantly changing. And that causes the problem. What is that problem? Anxiety, duality, conflict. So if we understand and we remain separate from object and experience of an object, now looking at the entire body, body is one thing, and experience, sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body is the second. Experience is different from the object. Similarly, the thoughts are the objects, and experience of a thought is different from the thoughts. And you are different from the both. I have been talking about you are standing across a road watching the traffic. You do not enter into the traffic while watching, while being aware. Same way, you are standing across a mind watching the mental traffic. Thought is an object plus its experience. They keep on changing. You are unchanging. that you is the real self, that you has no name and form. It is just a pure consciousness. That is why I gave a metaphor watching the traffic, the mental traffic of thoughts, feeling, sensation, emotions. But you are different. That makes you carefree. In that state of being carefree, in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, let us mentally recite the mantra for further understanding. Asitu ma satgamaya, asitu ma satgamaya, asitu ma satgamaya. First is the meaning. The meaning is move from the false to the real. And then we will understand that the objects are changing, experiences of the objects are changing, and that you do not change. What does not change is the real I. What changes is the false I. What is changing? Yes. Experiences in the body is changing. Today I feel tired, tomorrow I feel relaxed, the day after I had a good sleep I feel fresh. So the mind is also an object. And the experiences in the mind also changes. So we have to live in that awareness, what is changing and what is unchanging. So when we live in that awareness, our understanding deepens, intellect pushes the mind to drop the attachment with what is changing. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Meaning, moving from ignorance to wisdom. So again, do you remember the 3 points? Objects are changing. Experiences of the objects keep changing. You are not changing. You are permanent. That is the nature of the real self. So what we have to do, move from the ignorance to wisdom. So when your mind inside looks at the body and says, "This is I am." Remove that ignorance by understanding. Oh, no, 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 this is not me. Body is changing. Any thought enters into your mind. No, I'm not the thought, and I'm not the experience of the thought. You have some emotion and experience of that emotion. You are none of them. Are you getting it? That is the meaning of Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. And now the third line, Mrityorama Amritangamaya. Mrityorama Amritangamaya. Mrityurama Amritangamaya. That means move from the mortality. That which dies, changes, is not me. That which changes has to die. Why? What is the death means? It is present at one time and it is absent at other time. That is the meaning of the birth and the death. There is no other meaning at all. Why to be so serious? So body is present now. It will not be present after a few years. So what is changing is not me. What I experience is not me. What is the knower? That you is the pure consciousness is me. So in a deeper meditation, we can see the transmigration of the body. We can see a constant changing mind, thoughts, feeling, emotions, experiences. Like the water is not changing, but the waves keep on changing. You have small wave, you have big wave. So we have a good event in our life, we have a sad event. They are not me. Water does not change. That is what is happening with us. So we take it, what is changing is me, and that is why we have an experience of the fear and the fear of the death. So keep that understanding in your mind and keep looking at the breath. You are looking at the breath is going in and out. And the knower of that incoming and the outgoing breath is deathless. Who is deathless? You and me. I just changed the practice according to the lesson. We are going to understand the real self is of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. No movement. It's better if you don't move, it's good. And then open your eyes slowly. Become aware of the world outside. And also become aware of the entire world, which keeps on changing. I cannot find myself in the entire world. I cannot find myself in my experiences. Whether you say, no, I am into anxiety because of you, but that is your experience, you are not. Or I am happy with you, that itself is you are not. So last week we covered the formless self beyond limits. We are the real self, and that real self is beyond time, beyond space, beyond causality. So when anything is beyond time, we say it is eternal. When anything does not have a shape and the name, but still it is present, the space is present. Do you see the air? You feel the air. Air is still present. It does not have a name in the form. It is present. It is very much present. So it is the truth. So whatever is beyond time means what? That is present in the past, that is present now, that is going to be present in the future also. Why? It does not change. That is what we have understood and experienced in the meditation. That is the real self. It is like a movie screen that is not changing. And the movie is being playing, you have different plots and the villain and the actor and the actresses and the scene in the house. Everything keeps on changing. Same way, you are the screen that does not change. On the screen, body, mind, intellect, ego, they are playing their role. That is the nature of the real. Unity beneath multiplicity. Unity. How many cells you have? Trillions of the cells in the body. You don't have it. Body has it. How many thoughts you have in the mind? Trillions of the thoughts. Are the cells of the body changing? Yes. Even if you rub your hand, science says that 50,000 of the cells have died. Did I die? You have to understand that clearly. Oh, again I rubbed. So 50,000 cells have died. So if I'm the body and the cells of the body has died, it means I died. No, but I'm alive. Who is that? Alive? That is not the body. So when we see the multiplicity, we feel that we belong to it or they belong to me. like the millions of the waves surface on the ocean water. What is common? The water, not the waves. What are the waves? Cells of the body, the functioning variety of experiences, thoughts, feeling, emotions, intellect, ego, anxiety, duality, conflict. I can continue. They keep on changing. But the knower, you know them changing, is not you. You are changing. Whatever is changing is not you, and whatever is the knower is you. So when we understand and recognize this, we say there is a witness consciousness. It is like a witness in the court. Witness doesn't take a side, it is an observer. Where the problem comes, the false identification. What is that false identification? You are watching the movie on the TV screen and you say, this movie is the TV. No, this movie is the TV screen. Nothing happens to the TV screen. So we should not mistake roles and labels of our true identity. No, I did not understand. You may say. So easy to understand. There is a golden ring. There is a gold bangle. There is a gold bracelet. What is not changing in all of them? Gold. What is changing? The name and the form. So what does not change? That gold in the golden ring, in the golden necklace, in the golden bangle or bracelet. The name and the form have changed. I'm Girish, you're Michael, you're Nancy, you're Nick, and a long list. But the very essence inside, that gold is the real self that does not change. That is the journey of the entire Eastern wisdom. So we recognize that I, which does not change, and we also recognize the I associated with the body, mind, intellect, and the ego that keeps changing. Simply label this as false I. It's a golden ring after is a gold. Golden ring, you melt it, what is left is the gold. Where the ring has gone, the ring does not exist. It exists in my head. Body exists in my head, mind exists in my head. The real self is always there. Think, you have to think in this way. I told you. So once you listen to it and then you contemplate and what is the meaning of contemplation and reflection? You think again, you repeat thinking, you think on your own. So when you reflect, you get rid of the attachment and you live with the essence. You live with the essence. Can you count on how many visitors you have had in this year until today? Maybe you know the number, but you know they are visitors, including your relations, your friends, and strangers maybe. Can you take all the thoughts that enters into your mind are simply visitors? Why they are visitors? They come and they go. Some thought come and leave you after a few hours or few days. But they leave you. They do not stay. But if you force a particular thought to stay in your mind, oh, he insulted me, I'm not going to talk to that guy. And that thought, you are chasing that thought, then what is going to happen? These are thoughts coming and going. What happens then? There is no stress in your life. There is no anxiety in your life. There is no duality and a conflict, and you experience the sense of inner freedom. You experience the sense of inner freedom. Let us go a little deeper. Just as the screen existed prior to any movie you are playing on it, the TV screen existed. Similarly, we exist prior to the thought, prior to the object, prior to the experiences that is taking place in the mind. You have to listen to this again and again. We have started direct learning. So that screen is not limited by the TV size. Why? On that TV screen, you can see the mountains, you can see the entire Atlantic Ocean, you can see the entire cosmos, you can see the entire universe. That TV screen which is not changing is you. So you see the entire world appears in the mind, but that is not you. That space in the jar and the space outside, they are the same. It's a universal space. You break the jar. Can you find the space? No, it is one space, outside and inside. It is one consciousness. It is not only inside the body. It is all outside the body also. Our consciousness, that is the nature of the real self. We feel I'm limited into this body, I'm limited into this mind. I cannot define myself with reference to the body, the mind, the thought. I'm beyond that. Why I'm beyond that? Because the thoughts and objects are keep on changing. So our masters are teaching that we shift our identity. We shift our identity from the superficial, what is changing, body, mind, intellect, thought, to the knower to the observer, to the TV screen, to the space in the jar, to the gold, not to the gold chain or gold bracelet. That is the name in the form. Your absolute reality, that is what we should know. We are the absolute reality, which is eternal, that does not change, that is the truth. How can I realize? That is what we are doing. By meditative inquiry, we not only we do the inquiry, that is why I talk to you. I gave a talk. And at the same time, meditative inquiry, it means followed by the meditation, or while doing the inquiry, while listening to me, live into that state of meditation and ask, who am I? Are you the object? No. Are you your experiences? No. Objects are changing? Yes. You did change? No. Experiences are changing? Did you change? No. That you is you, real you. But I have understood intellectually why it is so difficult. Because of my habitual mind. Because of my impulsive mind. Because I lack. My mind is bombarded with so many thoughts, habitual, animal, impulsive pattern. They take over my mind and it washes away the knowledge. And that is why a repetition is required. Practice is required constantly. Did you understand? So that real self is of the nature of happiness. We have fleeting happiness. What is fleeting happiness? That fleeting happiness is pleasure. That comes in contact when the mind comes in contact with the external object. You like pasta, so the tongue comes in contact with the pasta and you feel happy. So that happiness is a fleeting happiness. Why it is fleeting? Because as long as you are eating pasta, it's okay. But the moment you stop it and after the next moment, that happiness is gone. So the fleeting happiness is nothing but the pleasure which is short-lived. Comes, experienced, when we come in contact with an object or an event or a person or a relations we like. But if we dislike that event, person, then we have anxiety, duality, conflict. So we have both the experiences based on coming in contact with an object. But what is about the permanent happiness? That is unconditional, unlimited. It is always present. No, but I don't experience it because my mind is outside. Do you see the sun? As the sun continues shining behind the passing clouds in the sky, the joy of innermost self remains undiminished behind changing external conditions. You may lose a job or a relationship, undergo illness or a failure, but the inner bliss is not at all affected. That is what we are discovering. Permanent happiness. That is permanent happiness in all the time, in all the situation, in all the events. Let me tell you something quite interesting. Do you want to experience permanent happiness? Say yes. So if you are not present, you cannot experience the permanent happiness, even if it is there. Clear? Yes, I have to be present. Who is this I? It is the pure consciousness. It is the real self. So the very presence of the real self helps you to experience the permanent happiness in the mind. But the mind is not the source of the happiness. Then from where the happiness comes? Real self. Real self is of the nature of permanent happiness. Uh, do you see that? You have to listen to this again and again. While listening, you repeat in your mind the way I'm communicating with you, and then see what happens. You know that real self? That real self. Just take another example. In a courtroom, a judge seated upon the bench remains detached from the proceedings to discern the truth without bias. So you, real he, real I here, real you there, is like a judge seated upon the bench of the world outside looking at different events, having variety of experiences in the objects, but not affected. Did you get this by examples? Similar to the bench supporting many arguments, many thoughts, the real self anchored in its seat of the witnessing awareness, like a screen, like a goal, perceives the truth beyond the mental conditioning in every situation, event, and relationship. And that is the real I. Same thing happens with the love also. First thing to understand, when you rise in love, you are talking really of the love. When you fall in love, that is your attachment. So we normally talk, I have fallen in love. When we abide as the real self, we move beyond the narrow identity of attachment. So when you drop attachment, you rise to the unconditional love and compassion towards all beings. It is like an ocean is the ground for the waves of various shapes and sizes. It is like an ocean is the ground for the waves of various shapes and sizes. Once all-pervading beingness is the support for diverse relationship appearing on the surface of life. To put it in a simple way, ocean is like an ocean is the surface for so many millions of the waves. What is deep inside? What is the cause of the wave? It is the water in the ocean. Does the water change? No. Even if the tsunami comes, the water changes. The storm comes, does the water change? That tsunami, that storm, that small wave, that beautiful waves belongs to the mind and the body, which keeps on changing, but I do not change, and that I am of the nature of love. Same way I am of the nature of wisdom, the knowledge. I am of the nature of. Just remember again, don't forget, the real self is eternal. The real self is beyond time. It was never born and will never die. As we pass from the childhood to old age, the childhood has died for both of us. The youth has died for both of us. 65 is known as now the senior. So just as we pass from the childhood to the old age, the self passes from one body to the another, but the self itself is eternal. First characteristics of the real self. Gold remains the gold even when it takes the shape of different ornaments like bracelet, like ring, like necklace. The shape changes, but the gold remains eternal. Eternal means beyond the time. I remain eternal beyond the time. The body is perish, but the self is eternal. That is what the first understanding, first character. Second is that it is true, it is truth. What is truth? That does not change. It transcends it is not subjected by the time. I have a gray beard, but inside that real I is still the same. The real self alone is the true and the real. The unreal, like the mirage in the desert, only appears to exist. Oh, say 50 years ago, the childhood appeared. Where? Here. 50 years. Now make it 40 years ago, the youth appeared and disappeared. Infancy appeared and disappeared. Childhood appeared and disappeared. The youth appeared and disappeared. But there is something I that did not change. I in the childhood, I in the youth, and I now still is the same. And that is what we say the absolute truth is the pure consciousness. It is not subjected by the body and the mind. How can you give an example? Yes, a rope, a string, in a dim light may appear to be a snake due to ignorance. But when the true knowledge dawns, we realize it was only a rope all along. The snake was unreal, only the rope was real. Only the consciousness was real. And I claim that I am the body and the mind is unreal. It is all pervading. Because it is truth, it is real self, it is eternal, means it is beyond time, and it is the truth, hence it is all pervading. Real self is pervading everywhere, inside, outside, everywhere. How? How like the space is everywhere, inside the room and also outside the room. But that space is also present in the mouth, inside the body and outside, inside the mind and outside, inside the eyes and outside, inside the nose and outside. Can you tell me where the space is not? I am of the nature of that space. You cannot localize that real self. It cannot be objectified. We talked about the fourth characteristic. The real self is beyond the grasp of the mind because the mind only knows the objects and it experiences. You cannot say the real self is an object, and that is why we cannot see the real self. Just imagine, aunt wants to know the working of a supercomputer, or just forget it, aunt wants to know the working of a laptop. Can it know? Why I gave that example? Our mind is like an ant in the presence of that super consciousness which is all pervading. The mind cannot know. That is why in meditation we just move into the emptiness and the silence, and then that real self awakens. It is not the doer. Mind, body, complex is the doer. The real self is non-dual. Non-dual means it cannot be the doer. How can you say that the sky, the sky holds clouds? Am I clear? The sky holds the cloud but remains untouched by the rain. Similarly, the self holds the body, mind, complex, and the ego, but remains remains untouched by the body, mind, complex. It holds. I can say that. We have to think in this way. The real self remains the same at all times. It is not affected or tainted by the changes. Body is changing, mind is changing, thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences are changing. But so when it is not affected by any changes, it is not also affected by the birth and the death. Why to worry? Real self is eternal. It is truth. It is all pervading. It cannot be objectified. It cannot become the object. It is neither the doer. It is of the nature of permanent happiness, nature of permanent love, nature of wisdom. It has no name in the form. Eternal means it never dies, it never takes the birth. So, a metaphor for understanding is the gold remains the gold. You are having a golden ring or a necklace or a bracelet, whatever you have. But my mind perceives it's a gold, it's a ring, and I forget the gold. I see you and I see your body, gender, profession, etc., but I forget that you are the real self. The same thing happens to all of us also. We have started the journey now. Clear, you have to live into that. So the self never changes. The sun provides the sunlight to the earth but remains untouched by whatever is happening on the earth. Similarly, that consciousness remains untouched by any activities, thought, feeling, emotions, duality, conflict, relationship of the body mind complex. That is the true nature of the real self. We'll continue to understand deeper. There are a lot of questions, doubt will come. If only the self exists, then why do I still see the body-mind complex? I will give you an answer. Wait for it. Thank you very much.